Behind the propaganda, the rallies, and the atrocities, Nazi Germany's top leaders harbored secret obsessions that revealed the twisted psychology beneath their monstrous public personas. Hermann Göring, Hitler's second-in-command and head of the Luftwaffe, was perhaps the most flamboyant collector in history, amassing an art collection worth an estimated $200 million by war's end, over 1,500 paintings stolen from Jewish families, museums, and conquered territories across Europe. His estate at Hall, named after his first wife, resembled a Renaissance palace crammed with Rembrandts, Vermeers, and Rubens. But Göring's obsessions went far beyond art. He maintained a private zoo with lion cubs he bottle-fed personally, dressed in elaborate medieval hunting costumes complete with jeweled daggers for staged photo shoots, and owned 20 different military uniforms he changed multiple times daily, each festooned with medals, many of which he designed himself. His morphine addiction, developed after being shot during the Beer Hall Putsch in 1923, required 100 pills daily by 1945, and he spent hours examining his jewelry collection, which included a 24-karat diamond ring he wore constantly. Heinrich Himmler, architect of the Holocaust and leader of the SS, was obsessed with the occult and pseudo-archaeology, funding expeditions to Tibet in 1938-39 searching for evidence of Aryan origins, spending 150,000 Reichsmarks on projects exploring witch trial records because he believed witches were actually ancient Germanic priestesses persecuted by Christianity. He kept a castle at Wilsberg as an SS shrine, where he conducted neo-pagan rituals in a circular hall modeled after King Arthur's Round Table, complete with 12 seats for his highest-ranking SS officers who he imagined as Teutonic knights. Himmler maintained meticulous herb gardens at his home, growing medicinal plants according to ancient Germanic texts, and practiced homeopathy obsessively, treating his chronic stomach problems with obscure natural remedies while simultaneously ordering the murder of millions. He kept detailed journals about weather patterns, convinced that ancient Germans could control climate, and collected thousands of books on rune magic, spending evenings deciphering ancient symbols he believed contained secret Aryan knowledge. Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister, was a failed novelist who never stopped writing fiction. His unpublished manuscripts, discovered after the war, included romantic novellas, historical dramas, and autobiographical screeds. Totaling over 3,000 pages of prose he wrote obsessively between speeches and ministry work. He kept detailed diaries from 1923 until his death in 1945, filling 50,000 handwritten pages with daily observations, gossip about Nazi leadership, film reviews. He watched movies almost nightly, screening Hollywood productions even during the war, and extensive notes about his numerous extramarital affairs. Goebbels was obsessed with cinema, maintaining a private film library of over 2,000 movies including banned American films like Gone with the Wind, which he screened repeatedly while publicly condemning American culture. He fancied himself a talented pianist, practicing Beethoven sonatas for hours despite having moderate skill, and wrote musical compositions he forced on his children, who were required to perform them at family gatherings. Rudolf Hess, Hitler's deputy before his mysterious flight to Scotland in 1941, was consumed by alternative medicine and astrology, consulting with dozens of fortune-tellers, herbalists, and natural healers who fed his hypochondria and paranoid delusions. He refused to eat anything not grown biodynamically, following anthroposophist Rudolf Steiner's agricultural theories obsessively, and maintained special diets that changed monthly based on astrological charts prepared by his personal astrologer, Ernst Schultz-Strathaus. Hess practiced magnetism healing, believing he could cure diseases by passing magnets over the body, and subjected himself to experimental treatments including injections of hormones extracted from animal glands. He kept dream journals filled with apocalyptic visions he believed were prophetic, hired graphologists to analyze the handwriting of everyone he met, and became convinced that British intelligence was poisoning his food through electromagnetic waves, paranoia that may have motivated his bizarre solo flight to Britain. Albert Speer, Hitler's architect and later armaments minister, was obsessed with creating monumental structures so massive they would leave impressive ruins even after thousands of years. His theory of ruin value meant designing buildings that would crumble aesthetically like Roman monuments. He spent countless hours building architectural models with painstaking detail, some as large as entire rooms, showing his vision for Germania, the rebuilt Berlin that would feature a domed hall 16 times larger than St. Peter's Basilica and a triumphal arch 400 feet tall. Speer photographed his buildings obsessively from every angle, maintained albums of construction progress, and sketched compulsively, producing thousands of architectural drawings even while running Germany's war production. He drove recklessly at high speeds when stressed, owned multiple sports cars, and took long solitary drives through the countryside at night as his primary form of relaxation. Reinhard Heydrich, the butcher of Prague and architect of the Final Solution, was an accomplished violinist who played chamber music regularly, hosting private concerts where he performed Brahms and Mozart with professional musicians, sessions he used to identify and recruit intellectuals for the SS. He was obsessed with fencing, training daily with Olympic coaches and competing in tournaments using his SS rank to ensure victory, and maintained peak physical fitness through compulsive exercise. Routines. Heydrich built and flew his own aircraft, personally piloting combat missions over Russia until forbidden by Hitler, and was a champion sailor who competed in regattas, winning several races in his yacht, Freya. Adolf Eichmann, bureaucrat of genocide who organized the deportation of millions to death camps, raised rabbits as a hobby, breeding them meticulously and maintaining detailed records of bloodlines, feeding schedules, and growth rates with the same precision he applied to documenting murdered Jews. He played violin badly but enthusiastically, subjecting family and colleagues to amateur performances, and collected wine bottles, cataloging them by region and vintage though he had unsophisticated taste. Martin Bormann, Hitler's private secretary and the most powerful man in Nazi Germany by 1943, was obsessed with agriculture and animal husbandry, managing farms that supplied Hitler's household while experimenting with breeding programs for cattle and pigs. He maintained extensive card files on every Nazi official, documenting their weaknesses, affairs, and financial improprieties, information he used for blackmail and power consolidation. These hobbies weren't mere pastimes. They revealed the fractured psychology of men who could appreciate beauty, pursue knowledge, and demonstrate discipline while simultaneously orchestrating industrial murder. Göring could cradle lion cubs tenderly while ordering the destruction of Warsaw. Himmler tended gardens peacefully while building Auschwitz. Goebbels wrote romantic fiction while crafting propaganda that dehumanized millions. Their hobbies demonstrated that evil doesn't require monsters. It thrives when ordinary human capabilities for creativity, curiosity, and passion are channeled through ideology that denies others humanity. When men who could build, collect, and create chose instead to destroy, steal, and exterminate, using the same meticulous attention to detail for genocide that they applied to their beloved pastimes.